The defense team in the City Harvest Church trial began cross-examination on Wednesday with counsel for Kong Hee Edwin Tong taking issue with the prosecution's examination-in-chief of Sim Guan Seng. Sim confirmed that he had no knowledge of the context of emails or documents the prosecution had shown him. He also agreed that he was unable to form any conclusions from these isolated documents despite his answers to the prosecution's questions earlier in the week. Defense counsel for Tan Ee Peng and Srinivasan sought to show that the management of the church had taken the advice of its auditors and obtained a valuation of the Extron bonds by an independent valuation firm, Censir. Sim agreed with Srinivasan that every entry concerning the bonds in CHC's books was a true, fair and accurate entry. Sim also confirmed that he was aware that investment monies from the Special Opportunities Fund and the ARLA had been returned to CHC and that the Extron and Ferna bonds had all been fully redeemed. Sim agreed with Srinivasan that he knew all the funds had been paid back with interest and all these transactions had been accurately captured in CHC's books. Senior counsel Kenneth Tan, acting for John Lam, established that Sim had discussed with Lam at length regarding the Extron bonds and the convertible feature as well as the reasons behind them. Sim also agreed with Lam that CHC and Extron had common interests and worked together towards common objectives, but they had different managements and should maintain an arm's-length relationship. Over the course of the prosecution's examination-in-chief, DPP Ong tried to establish that the valuation of the amended Extron bonds was done without taking into account the Standard Chartered loan. However, defense counsel presented evidence from Baker Tilly's records showing that the firm had been provided full disclosure of the Standard Chartered mortgage loan to purchase the Riverwalk property in August 2008. When questioned by Michael Khoo, senior counsel for Chewing Han, Sim confirmed that from the evidence, AMAC had taken legal advice in drafting all investment documents to CHC, including the bond subscription agreements. The court had also previously heard that according to a draft Baker Tilly management letter dated 28 July 2010 that was signed off by Sim, that there was no documented evidence over the selection of fund managers for investments. When shown evidence taken from Baker Tilly's records, Sim conceded that he had seen the fund management agreement between AMAC and CHC. Kanan Ramesh, senior counsel for Sharon Tan, tried to refute the prosecution's claim that the advance rental license agreement between CHC and Extron Productions was a sham. Ramesh took the court through emails and audit working papers showing that ARLA was entered into after the auditors were informed that it would result in the redemption of the Extron bonds. The auditors appear to have taken into consideration Extron's seemingly high-risk status. The CHC Audit Plan Memorandum in financial year 2008 showed that an analysis of the redemption of Extron bonds using the ARLA had been done and that the auditors were focused on establishing an accurate accounting treatment of the said redemption. Ramesh also produced a chart that mapped out the timeline of both the CHC and the Extron audits by Baker Tilly and showed that there was an overlap in the audit periods for both entities. While there had been a change of 3 engagement partners during the material time, Fung Ai Fang had been maintained as the audit manager on both accounts to ensure continuity. As such, it was unlikely that any key information uncovered on one end would get lost or overlooked in the course of auditing the accounts of both entities. During Sim's examination-in-chief, he had agreed with the DPP that he was not aware of any investment policy for CHC. Defense counsel for Serena Wee, Andrea Maniam, sought to clarify this with a letter obtained from Baker Tilly's own records showing that CHC's investment policy had in fact been provided to Fung Ai Fang as early as August 2007. This was before Sim took over as engagement partner for CHC and Extron. Court will resume on Tuesday, 28th January. For more information, please log on to citynews.sg. I'm Wayne Chung for City News Singapore.